Hey, this is Knox Raiders, the movie. And we're gonna be talking about how to set up your rifle today with Quigley Tactical and Sire Actual. So yeah, let's get into it.
Okay, so good morning, good afternoon, whenever you're watching this. I'm Quigley from Knox Raiders. Just want to introduce a few just key broad strokes, like almost rules for the video. We always want to try to do like introductions on things like why we're giving you this information. Why do we think that we should give you this information? Why do I want to speak so loudly on the internet about these things? So for myself, my name's Quigley. I've served with the Canadian Forces for 17 years. It's kind of like weird to talk about because we never really look at ourselves as very special. But in my own particular case, I've done all kinds of deployments. I've done 2 deployments to Ukraine. I've completed all kinds of reconnaissance courses, basic reconnaissance, advanced reconnaissance. I've gone through the entire sniper chain, basic, sniper deck commander, advanced sniper. I've done combat tracking. I've been to the jungles of Cambodia. I've been down to the desert to train with the Americans. I've been up to the Arctic to do Arctic patrols. And I've also have completed courses with the US Army, US Army Air Assault. I worked with the Ranger Regiment and the French Foreign Legion doing jungle warfare and combat tracking. May have already kind of spoke on that. The reason why I have kind of come out of the shadows with this is there's just a lot of opinions and information out in the gun industry right now that I think are a little ungrounded, and they're coming across as exclusionary of the entire Canadian gun community as a whole. So this is why I'm talking to you, and that is my background and the reason why you should listen.
Yeah,
that's pretty much it.
Yeah, your technical, like what they call you is a master sniper, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, master sniper.
Yeah,
it's pretty deadly. But yeah, today we're gonna go over GPR, which is a HIP categorical term for just general purpose rifles. So yeah, we got multiple on the table here.
We got everything.
Yeah, all slightly different configurations, but all general purpose rifles that you could use that are kind of well balanced in terms of what you can use them for. So, I don't know, what would you kind of...
So I want to preface all of this is the biggest problem I think with the civilian shooting realm is everyone wants to jump from zero to hero. They want to be that guy storming Bin Laden's compound and like taking that fucking war-winning shot with all of their thousands of dollars of gear on. But even myself, back when I was a younger man, I was doing this with a bubbed out AK, or sorry, like an SKS, some sort of variant like that. That's just to say, as like a broad rule, you don't need something like this to be good at shooting. Training is what makes you good at shooting. Getting used to your equipment that you can afford is what makes you good at shooting. And then knowing your lane and staying within it. So looking at the table, there's a broad spectrum of weapon systems that you'd want to employ. You need, before you even purchase your rifle, is to establish what you want to do with that gun. Do you want to be good in the mid-range from 100 meters out to 6? Do you want to get really good at close range? And knowing the capabilities of the weapon system that you're going to be purchasing, and then living within your means in that sense, because it's not cool to be in debt. So just starting, maybe for some of the cheaper sides of it, the Type 80, what is it?
Type 81?
Type
like
81.
$1,200 MSRP.
Yeah, so the Type 81, anyone who before like the OIC had something like a VZ or anything like that, it's a super cheap, like I guess
it's
alternative.
It's a mil-spec rifle too. Like
it is a battle rifle that is proven, whether it's been proven in proper ways by like killing Uyghurs or something like that in the north of China, like, but it is a battle-proven rifle.
It's seen a lot of action in Africa, that's for sure.
So this type of weapon system, there's a few things that I would say that applies to all of them. Your muzzle device, like you don't want to be that dude on the range with the brake that's just blasting everybody's ear pro off. A good muzzle device on the front end is something that you could probably look to get.
That's a mock suppressor.
This is mock.
Yeah.
You get like all kinds, like the Surefire Warden. I think Surefire even makes like a mock suppressor as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Your weapon light, I would say, is an absolute must. And then any sort of optic, like you do not need an optic to start. Like I was rolling my SKS with just iron sights for like 5 years.
Irons, son.
Yeah.
Irons.
Cowboy.
So this, in my opinion, is a really good base. Like your Hollow Sun, like RMR, what is this one?
That's the Hollow Sun Ames. It was like $500. It's a good like multi-reticle system. It's I think it's just a reflex sight, or it might be a holographic.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not super well informed on that matter, but like the three things you should have on your rifle, like right off the bat, it's probably a light. Actually, first thing, a sling. Get a sling. A light.
2-point sling.
Yeah, and then
2-point slings, the reason why you want to roll with a 2-point sling over like a 1-point is the base thing of casualty extraction. And you might think, Quigley, I just want to shoot this thing on the range. But okay, so why are you wearing your plate carrier? Why are you wearing all this equipment if you're not training to be an asset and not a liability? 2-point sling, if you need to vault an obstacle, if you need to climb something, if you need to extract a casualty, you can quickly sling your gun down by your side, across your back, whatever, and save your brother. I know that's kind of like a dark thing to think about, but again, why are you doing something if you're not going all the way?
no, shit happens.
Yeah.
What else do we want to think about? Your light. So we have a lot of friends that just roll with lights. You should roll with a light. You need to get used to like articulating your light, getting it on, learning to shoot with your light.
Yeah,
I would
light
say
just
at a very
increases
base.
shot accountability.
Yeah.
And like fucking, you can't do this in Canada, but say if you were to ever use a rifle in a defensive situation, or if you're using your rifle to defend livestock, like most predators, you know, they come out at night, you need something to identify them, and a light's your best way of making sure you end up shooting a coyote and not shooting one of your dogs or one of your animals, so.
Not to mention too, you will run into points in the day where your night vision isn't quite, you know, viable. Like, I don't know, I'd say like right before sunset.
Or you're outside of a building and you're trying to look in.
But your night vision's just not gonna cut it. It's not dark enough, but it's, you know, maybe light enough that you could still use a flashlight. It's good to have.
Or if you're a young fella in the military, like we don't get our Surefires that often. So just to be able to train, I know for me, the biggest part of wanting to wear all this on the range is to get better at my own job. And everybody within the forces watching this should want to do that. You shouldn't want to just own all this and then just like crush a bag of Doritos while you're watching like, I don't know, OnlyFans or some shit. With your weapon light, like I would say if you do not get anything else, a sling and a weapon light are the things that you must.
Yeah, those are the first two, and then you can prioritize an optic.
Okay, should we move on to another gun?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, we'll give another example.
That's a good example of red dot only 18-inch gun. Here we have a prism sight.
It's a little bit of throwback for, I guess, like the Canadian, like I guess after the ban guns. Here we got a True North Arms. What is it? The Gen 1.5, you call it?
Yeah, it's a Gen 1 WK with a True North Arms upper and lower receiver.
But yeah, as you can see, you know, bare bone setup, but it's got a sling, it's got a light, it's got a Vortex prism sight. This gun all in was like 1,800 bucks.
Yeah,
like
with this rifle you can still engage targets anywhere from 10 yards to 300.
Yeah. That's a big thing. It's like I talked about already, is establishing what you want to do with the gun. A good all-around rifle will serve you the best for like a beginner rifle.
Yeah.
That's another good example, I think, of a beginner rifle. You notice on this gun here, if I may, the weapon light doesn't actually have like an actuating like a button or anything like that, and it all depends on how you want to run it. If you want to run your weapon light, personally I would have it on my firing side just so I can actuate it from the front. A lot of people may argue to have it on this side, so when you're coming up around a corner, your weapon light is coming around the corner with your barrel, making your silhouette a little smaller. I think that is a very like sound like reasoning. However, if you want it on your non-firing side or your firing side, correction on this, your right side of the rifle, you are gonna need a button or else you're gonna be doing some weird shit over top underneath.
Yeah, your lights and lasers should be set up as intuitively as possible. Shouldn't have to be contorting your hands or anything like that. The button should already be there on your C-clamp, so then when you need to use it, it doesn't take any thinking, it's just right there, ready for you to use.
Yeah. Okay, so moving up the chain, I think.
Should we talk about some LPVOs?
Yeah.
Types of optics.
Okay, so
Yeah.
types of optics. For myself, there's essentially two reasons why you'd want to use your optic. Again, I'll bounce back to what do you want to use this gun for? Do you want to use it as a DMR? Like I have an AR-15 set up like a DMR, like quote unquote recce rifle. So you can dial it back to 1x, you can fire it, you can do all kinds of your cool shooty scooty shit, or you can dial her up to 6 power, 10 power, whatever it might be, and then actually really get those hits on target. If you have a proper reticle within your scope, I'll go ahead and name drop the Vortex EBR7C, I believe it is. It's like a Christmas tree reticle. It's built for DMR type weapons. You can essentially, without showing the reticle, you can make quick follow-on shots based on where your splash lands of the round of where you missed. Looking at a lot of the options here, I can't see this one because of the paint, good paint job. Excellent, very excellent rail on that one. You have your Vortex Strike Eagle. The one thing I want to say is if you are going to the LVPO route and you are hoping to run night vision or have night vision, is you have like a quick backup. Okay, so like your canted offset, like RMR would work, whether you have it mounted off to the side or like the brand here, just on top, okay? And the one thing you need to be careful of is rolling with these types of optics is your head placement, okay? Head placement is important for accuracy and marksmanship. If you have it canted off to the side, you need to be able to have it high enough that you can still look at it through night vision should you need to do that. I kind of prefer it on top, that way you can have that heads up fucking view on the rifle and it just works that much better.
Yeah, that's probably the most ideal setup for having having an LPVO while also being able to passively aim.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's about it for, you want to go into magnified?
Oh yeah, yeah,
Okay.
magnified red dot, so.
Fear guns here with very different magnifying types.
Yeah, same deal though, so it's like, this isn't really like the best for like long range or the best for close range. It's really just like well balanced. Mm-hmm. And I got the EOTech with the circle dot reticle here, which is probably not everybody's favorite for passive aiming because some people don't like the circle. But it's just a general purpose rifle that's set up for general purpose things and night fighting. I don't know, what do you have to say about this?
So the biggest thing I would say, again, and I always hark back to it, there's nothing wrong with having multiple guns. A general purpose rifle is definitely the best way to go, and a lot of rifles within Canada, they don't really fall underneath the 18-inch realm that often. So if you want to get within like the urban ops or quick aim shooting stuff, in my opinion, I know that the Aimpoint does have better battery life, but the EOTech for passive shooting, which we'll get into later, it really takes the cake, I'll say. To be able to actuate your magnifier and make those longer range shots, making like realizing that an 18-inch barrel can punch out a 223 or 5.56 round like plus 300 or 3,000 feet per second. You can easily make 600 meter hits with this rifle. So if you want to like do something close range, quickly flip your magnifier up like you're in Modern Warfare 3 and then ring some steel at 600, you can. I wouldn't go any less than something like this to make that type of engagement with this gun.
Yeah, with that length of barrel, like magnification is almost a must.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had this gun out on the range hitting 450, just a magnified EOTech.
Yeah, yeah. And then if you want to go straight into the more quick aim shooting side of things, you have like the BNT here. The BNT, like this one is mine. I just have the EXPS 3.0 on that. And I do intend on putting this type of combo reticle on it, because even at this configuration with like the 10, 12-inch barrel that it has on it, you could still make easy hits out to like 500, 600 even. I would bet 600 you could hit with this, with that type of reticle and that type of setup. And that's not to totally discredit your PCC options. So myself, I run a Chris Vector. This thing's all caught up there.
Too many gun.
I've run the Chris Vector for years. I've put there's probably at least 10,000 rounds through my own. And you can make pretty good hits out to 100 meters with it. It's a really good option. Again, if you can't afford anything like this, if you can get a Chris Vector for $2,000, you know you have a reliable rifle or weapon system that you can employ to train and do drills with. You have your SIG Romeo, what is it, Romeo 5? Yeah. You have your SIG Romeo 5 on there. I run the same EOTech on mine. That's actually the EOTech off my Chris Vector while I'm waiting for my new optics to come in. Perfect optic for this type of gun.
But yeah, they're great training implements because, you know, save some shekels on 5.56 and run 9mm instead.
Yeah, and that's a good thing too. If you are lucky enough to have your pistol, you can literally just buy one round for both your weapon systems.
Yeah. But yeah, should we talk about, you know, somebody goes out and they want to start shooting under night vision and they want to buy a LAM unit. They don't really know a whole lot about passive aiming or active aiming.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, what would you say to that? Like, where would you put your LAM? What kind of LAM would you get? And like, how would you set up your passive aiming and active aiming setup?
Okay, so for the first thing I want to talk about is like LAM units or like laser aiming devices or LADs or whatever they want to talk about. So the purpose, like I'd say the Canadian Forces is a bad example for this. We spent 10 years in Afghanistan shooting farmers, essentially, with like complete night dominance. However, in a peer conflict, on multiple, having deployed twice to Ukraine, I trained air assault soldiers, recon soldiers, special forces snipers, regular snipers, and special forces officers. The big thing that they talk about is that if it emits, you can die, okay? In the Canadian Forces, we'll use our laser aiming devices almost to a fault. We'll use it for every type of aiming we do at night. That in the new spectrum of warfare, using a laser aiming device, it points both ways. I'll just say that. Your laser aiming device points both ways, and you're only going to be a liability to you and your brothers when you go to use that thing. Mounting it, I would say that depends on your length of pull. So myself, I like to really get long out on my rifle. I don't really cope well with shorter rifles. However, there's multiple ways to do it. It's like you said, you want things to be as intuitive as possible. If you don't have a button, if you can actuate the thing from the top and still maintain that C-clamp grip on it to fire it, that's perfect. Just keep in mind, if you need to use your laser aiming device to engage a target, your laser aiming device comes on, you take your shot, you turn your laser aiming device off, and then you move. You need to displace. Because if somebody with night vision is looking for you, they have now seen exactly where you are. Yeah, that's the biggest intro I would give for laser aiming devices. Now, depending on the type of night vision you have, people say it's hard to passively aim with a PVS 14, into which I will laugh uncontrollably at that comment and highlight the 10 years in Afghanistan that our soldiers did it if they had their EOTechs. What passive aiming is it's not actively aiming with your laser aiming device. Saying your laser aiming device is active, it is shooting, and you are pointing that laser at a target to engage it. Passive aiming is you have your night vision on, you can stare through your optic, you have your optic in night vision mode, and you can fire in a, I would say, semi-concealed manner in which nobody is seeing like the report of your laser before your gun goes off.
Yeah, so if you were to just get night vision, your best bet would to be prioritize a passive aiming setup before you get a LAM unit or anything like that. Because to be perfectly honest, like I never use my LAM unit.
Yeah,
like
it's like I would say in a real combat like scenario, your laser aiming device is for marking targets. It's for designating targets for your rifle section, whatever you have, or to be like, hey, do you see this guy on the roof? Things like that. If you're actually going to engage a target, you're faster by aiming passively, you're more accurate because you're actually using your sight that is still zeroed, and you're concealed. You're not putting your brothers at risk.
Yeah, not giving off a huge signature with a beam pointing exactly to where you are.
So that leads into the type of reticle, and I would say that EOTech stands above the rest in that sense because it is directly made to do that. Something like a prism or things like that, like any sort of like if you have an Spectre DR or something like that, it's an optical lens. So looking through an optical lens, you can still look through your optical lens with night vision. However, all you'll see is your reticle, and then the image will be blurred.
Oh, it's a bitch. You gotta like turn your gain all the way down, and then you kind of have to like, you actually have to like only use like one eye, like close one eye. Yeah, it's a bitch.
We don't have me on the table, but Primary Arms makes a wonderful optic for passive shooting. They even have like 1 to 3 night vision modes on that. So you can really have that light in your reticle just tuned perfect for your night vision optic.
Yeah, so say if you have like a prism sight or something like that, and you wanna be able to passively aim, like your best bet would be to get a piggy dot, red dot, just like on this brand here. Like this is a wicked setup.
Yep. And the biggest thing is to train with it. To train with it, it's uncomfortable, it's odd. You need to like fuck with your eye relief sometimes. You need to get that broad, like you need to be able to put your EOTech, say, in a spot where you can still see it properly through your like naked eye during the day, and then through your night optics, whatever you have at night.
Oh yeah, for a while you'll always be changing shit up.
Yep.
You know, just adjusting it until like you get a right fit, and you know it becomes nice and comfortable for you to use.
And that's not to say it is more difficult to see targets while you're passive aiming. It is, because you're staring through, your eye is looking through your ocular lens on your night vision, which is going through your objective lens, which is hitting your ocular lens of your EOTech, coming through your objective lens of your EOTech. So that's like at least 4 layers of glass at the bare minimum that you're staring through. But you are not broadcasting your own position. And someone, I've heard this many times, is Quigley, this isn't combat, shut the fuck up. But again, I will say, why are you doing this? Why are you wearing all this equipment?
Yeah, this is a martial art.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, why would you go out and learn how to box properly?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then when we talk about laser aiming devices, so the Steiner D-ball, fucking $1,500. I don't know which Holosun this is.
That's like the higher end Holosun.
Yeah.
That was like $1,600.
$1,600.
Titanium housing.
Your Somo gear is what?
Somo gear Engall here, and 2 Somo gear, 3 Somo gear PEC 15s. Holy shit, 3 Somo gear PEC 15s.
Are your eyes good?
My eyes, I got sunglasses on, dude. I'm fucking
Your eyes good?
A-okay.
My eyes are
My
fine.
eyes are fine too. So your Somo gear lasers,
$230.
$230. If you have to buy a laser, if you want to buy a laser, like I said, I haven't had a laser until 2021. I shot from the time I had my PAL up until 2021 without a laser. You do not need a laser.
No, they're on my guns. It's basically like aesthetics, and you know, showing my dad like, look how cool this is.
Yeah,
That's literally it.
I wish I did more research. This is my build here. I wish I would have known about the cheaper end lasers. This laser right here, it's essentially a $1,600 cat toy, and
Yeah.
you can't tell the difference between that, the Engall, the Somo gear, and
$230,
$1,600. That's money that you could put towards, you know, a better optic for passive aiming, or ammunition for training,
Yeah.
or just overall kit that you need to be effective.
Yeah, because night shooting really isn't any different than shooting during the day. It's just, you know, you just have a few more optics to look through.
Your field of view is narrower.
Yeah, your fundamentals are all the same.
Yeah.
So it's just get out there and train, and then when you finally do get night vision, you'll be able to transition and, you know, actually shoot comfortably under night vision rather quickly. But if you don't go out, you're gonna be screwed essentially.
The next thing we want to go through lasers is switches, I would say.
Yeah, buttons.
Switches.
Go hand in hand.
Yep. So you're having your laser. I'll just talk about this one because it's easy. With my D-ball, it's a dual laser setup. You got your visible laser, your infrared laser. There is no illuminator. We didn't really touch on illuminators. I will say illuminators are really good, again, for marking targets and getting PID. Now think about this. I pose this situation to you. You're crossing an open field. You and your section come under contact. Are you going to worry about exactly what the target is that is shooting at you? No. You're getting shot at. You want to break contact. You'll be able to see muzzle flashes. You'll be able to hear the report of the rifle. You do not need PID if you are shooting at somebody who's shooting at you. However, if that turns out to be a friendly force, yes, but again, that should be coordinated outside of your mission. Okay? If you're getting shot at, the report of the rifle sounds to be like some sort of 240 Bravo C6, something like that, you could probably figure out that there is a friendly force shooting at you. However, if you're patrolling an enemy territory and you come under contact, using your illuminator to illuminate the target is only helping the enemy. Again, muzzle flashes report where you are as well. You can fire at those muzzle flashes. You do not need your lamb as much as we use in the CAF. Switches. I have the Surefire switch. It's just a dual switch. You can fire off your light. You can fire off your laser. The biggest thing with switches is your placement. Okay. I personally like to hold the rifle way out front with my hand pressing down on the top, just like this. Sometimes I burn my hand. That's fine. I'm a grown up. But the last thing you want is for your lights and your lasers to have negligent discharges when you're on patrol, on an attack, something like that. A lot of the guys will put their switches on top, which is great. You see a bunch of examples of this.
About 90% of these guns here,
yeah, most of their switches are on top. You just want it in a place that you know that you're not going to take a knee and your laser's going to turn on. That you're not going to jump up and move and your light's going to fire off.
Yeah, a good solution to that is caps.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well,
caps.
if you were to get in, that's a whole nother conversation is camouflage of your weapon system and things like that.
Oh yeah, paint your gap.
Whole nother video.
Paint your gap.
But yeah, that's pretty much what I have for that type of stuff.
Yeah, do you think we pretty much covered everything?
I think it's a pretty good start.
Yeah.
Like I'll say, for civilians, what the reason why I've started to talk more about this is because I've started to see that the civilian side of things, there's a huge divide in which it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. And yeah, you have bro vets from the military that just truly believe that civilians should own this stuff.
Clerks.
Which I don't mind. I think civilians should own it. I think civilians should get really good at it. And I would like to look left and right of me and see civilians doing well on the range and like sorting out their kit in a logical fashion. And who owns that knowledge within this country are people within the military. So the duty's on us as military members to inform our friends at the range as to like how we set things up and why. And like what is the logical way of doing things.
Yeah, PAL numbers are skyrocketing right now. Like I got a lot of friends who are like just getting into shooting and they're always asking me questions like, oh, like what optic, like how do I set up my rifle? So this is a remedy to that. So somebody could just come watch this and be like, oh yeah, I have all these different options. If I want to do this, this, and this, and they can actually, you know, apply that, and it's good information.
Yeah, going forward, we're probably going to post more content just in depth of actually these individual builds and the guys behind them and why they built those builds.
Yeah, Knox talks.
Knox talks.
Shall we shoot?
Yeah, let's shoot. All right, thanks guys. We'll see you later. See you out at the range.